Hey screen printers, a couple of the challenges that come with screen printing on sweatshirts is just the fact that they're thicker. You also have this fleece content on the inside that makes it hard to get to stick to the pallet and that makes them heat adverse. So they tend to shrink and flex when you get them hot under your flash. Today for this white print on the JERZEES Ultimate Sweatshirts, I'm gonna be using Amazing Bright Tiger White. I don't normally reduce white, really ever, unless I'm going on sweatshirts. I will put a few percent of a reducer in my white. I just feel like it helps it print a little better. Just be heads up not to exceed about 5% of reducer into your white because you'll start reducing the opacity and vibrancy and its ability to cover. I'm gonna add 200 grams of white. We're looking for about 10 grams of reducer into this white, which is not much. So we're gonna be kind of careful here. I'm just gonna give it a really good mix. Now you'll notice I don't do this right into my original container. I want to keep that as opaque as possible, and I'll mark this container and move it to the side, and that way I have a reduced white and then my original white. We're ready to set up our design. Just simple, one color, kind of East Coast, hardcore, collegiate looking design on these sweatshirts. I think it's gonna look great. I chose a 110 mesh screen because I'm looking for a pretty heavy deposit of white. I want it to be nice and bright. Not looking for soft hand here necessarily. One color is pretty easy to set up. All I gotta do is make sure the center marks on my design are on the center line on my palette. I have a nice 70 Duro squeegee. I got the ink we mixed up earlier. Okay, I have my test print shirt. This gives me an opportunity to grab my placement, look for any pinholes maybe I missed while I was quality controlling my screen. Always jump into a test print before you dive into expensive sweatshirts. Couple passes to build that foundation. That looks pretty great. I do see a pinhole. I'm gonna grab it real quick. It's not a big space where that thing lives. I'm ready to grab my placement. It's about 2 3/4 from the edge of my palette. My gut says this is gonna look good at about 3 inches or so. One of the first things I think of when I think of printing on sweatshirts is my off contact. You always need a little bit more space in between your screen and the substrate you're printing on, which is this thicker sweatshirt. So imagine doing double your normal off contact, roughly. Second thing is I have to have an adhesive strong enough to get the fleece to actually stick, especially if I'm flashing. I don't want it to flex and move under the heat of the flash. I'm going to use web spray. It's a little more aggressive. Most of you have used it. It comes out like spider web. Now, anybody who's used web spray knows it's a little messy. Don't be afraid to throw some old cardboard boxes down around your press so you're not getting web spray on the floor. When you're done, you just recycle those boxes. Keep an eye out for stuff like this when you're using web and just simply grab it with the side of the can. It's much more aggressive than like a mist spray. Even here, you can kind of tell, but once you press on it with the squeegee, it's really gonna press down into it. So I've built my foundation already with my base. So on this one, I can actually do a little less pressure and a little quicker pull. I think I'm pretty happy with that placement. Keep those sweatshirts nice and flat on the dryer, otherwise they might get hung up on the inside. One more gray one. So the other thing I need to be concerned about with sweatshirts is how they're woven. Typically it's cotton on the outside, and on the inside is where the polyester lives. Now polyester up against the pallet kind of gives a little bit of instability. As it gets hot under the flash, you may run into some shifting. So if you have a white base, imagine with red on top, a little bit of that white might stick out, and it's because of the polyester shrinking and moving under the heat of the flash. When you're printing sweatshirts, you're most likely gonna have to spray the palette in between every garment. I couldn't be happier with how these came out. The JERZEES Ultimate CVC ring spun sweatshirts look awesome. They were pretty easy to print for a sweatshirt. I had good stability using the web spray, no issues with it shifting under the flash. White looks super bold and bright. Next time you're up against sweatshirts, give these JERZEES Ultimate a try. Thanks for hanging with me at Press today. I hope you got a few tips you can use next time you're printing sweatshirts, and I'll see you next time. Thanks for hanging me.